Will Kusama drop below $200 before we go on to see all-time new highs? Well, that's what we're going to focus on today's video. So if you like today's content, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you don't know me by now, my name is Jiggy. I'm the award-winning author of The Extraordinary New Venture Capital Opportunity, How to Invest Like a Pro. Been featured in the best-selling book, High Probability Trading Strategies, back in 2008. Trading currencies for over 15 years, now exclusively focused on crypto. So let's dive straight in. Now, firstly, this was our last video on Kusama. I think it was in the first couple of weeks of August. And what we said was, it looks like we've made this wave too low. And we pegged it based on Fibonacci ratios, price ratios, Elliott wave patterns, which really show us the relationship, the psychology of fear and greed and speculation when we're reading price action using momentum indicators. So if you haven't already, take my free Elliott wave and Fibonacci masterclass, because I'll show you how to do this, how you can use leading indicators to see what's likely to occur next. And we hit the low bang on. So those of you, I know a lot of you took action on this. And those of you that did, you would have profited hugely. So let's look at what actually happened at the price movement. So this actually down here was that YouTube video. Boom. Here, look at this. Bang. If you look at it, exactly that point here. And look what happened. We had this nice 5-wave move to the upside. But what we said in the video was we should anticipate, if I can draw it like this, if I can just annotate over here and say, look, we were saying you should expect a wave 1, a wave 2, and then a wave 3, a wave 4, and then a wave 5, right? That's how the market tends to unfold. Impulsive waves tend to be a 5-wave sequence, and then corrections tend to be a minimum of 3 waves. So this is what we were anticipating, this to the upside. And that's important to note, because now what we're going to look at is today's information. What information do we have now? So the title of today's video is really, is Kusama going to drop below 200,000? Not 200,000, $200 before we go on to see all-time new highs. All-time new highs would mean exceeding the closing price of $600. I believe that's, Kusama hasn't gone, yeah, that's pretty much, it's going to be the all-time new highs, right? So what we should anticipate is a correction. So we pegged this is great, but now let's just focus on this part of the market, right? Let's focus on the information that we have at hand today. Firstly, the weekly momentum, if I even just pull this up as a full chart, top left, if I just, because this gave us really valuable information. When this weekly momentum down here was deeply oversold and they made a bullish reversal here, it helped us see that the likely low was going to be near. And that's where we was marking it as a wave 2. So the momentum on the weekly is still up overall. So we should anticipate the overall market to be sideways to up. But we've now had this, we don't need to put a count on it, but we've had this nice movement to the upside. And then we've had what looks like the beginnings of a correction. And we want to pay attention to this and what's likely to occur next. Because if you look at the buy Kusama for the first time, it's good and healthy to see what's likely to occur. So we're calling this a wave 1 top. And we should anticipate 3 legs to the downside. So first things first, let's just do some price. The most basic is going to be Fibonacci retracements. By the way, if you're not used to this, I cover this in the free Elliott wave and Fibonacci masterclass, which you can take. It's in the description below. So this is, let's see if it lets me click, boom, boom. And the numbers that we want for a typical correction is 50, 62 to 78.6%, right? So price, and you can see it hasn't even come down to the 50%. But there's another key thing that I like to use called time, Fibonacci time. Most corrections, wave 2 corrections, tend to take at least 50% of the time taken to form the wave 1, right? And that's this date here. The low should be below after the 9th of October. So we haven't reached the 9th of October. So that gives me a massive signal that we should expect sideways to down, and the correction is going to be more likely to be down here. What we can also do is how long, because what I'm seeing here, just so we're on the same page, is what looks like to be a nice wave A. It looks like to have an ABC flat. ABC flat is a particular type of ABC type correction, and then we're probably going to get a third leg down. It's probably going to coincide with the next bullish reversal or with the momentum indicator. again, we work with probabilities here, not certainties. You know, if you're looking for a certainty game, crypto isn't it. Crypto isn't it. Any market isn't certain, but we do have probabilities. So now let's just wrap up, keeping it nice and clean. This wave, often wave C is a mirror of this wave. So this is what we're going to look at. So we can do a couple of things, and that's what we're going to wrap up with today. First, excuse me, is measure this wave, what we're looking at wave A, project it forward from this wave B, potential wave B. We do need the price to go lower for it to be confirmed, but the most common ratio that we're looking for is the 100%. You can see it's right near the 78.6. That's the high probability. So what confirms a wave B high is once we go, especially once we go below this point and below this point, right? But it's looking likely because the momentum is sideways to down. Then we also want to do the same thing for time. How long did it take to form what looks like this wave A? Project it forward from this wave B. Make sure we get this bump. And the number that we want is the 100%. So now we have this very narrow time zone that's going to be most common for, which is the date is the 11th of October. So we might get the low on the 11th, around the 11th of October. The typical maximum is 1.618 in time. So we keep it a bit more broad, but we can say, look, we should anticipate this zone. And there is one other zone which we want to be aware of, which is the 62%. So, and how this tends to unfold is Fibonacci price is so powerful, guys, so powerful. It's unbelievable, especially with crypto because it's such a young market. But if price does go down this way, if it surpasses this point, it will tend to get down to the next point, and then we'll look to have a reversal. So then what I want to, because we said, are we likely to go down to $200? This is around the $200 mark, $216 thereabouts, $200 in this range. If it does unfold this way, what will tend to occur next, and is important that we're aware of this, is a wave 3 of a wave 3, which will tend to be something like this. And on a price projection, again, this is just forecasting, but it kind of just gives you a bigger picture of what's probable. Not certain, but what's probable. And a typical wave 3 we should anticipate is 1.618 to 2.618. And those price targets are $680 to $970, right? So that's pretty extreme. That's a nice big movement, especially if you manage to get in at around 200. So that's around a 3-4x to up to almost a 5x, 300% to a 500%. So just be really, really mindful of that. So sideways to down for up until the maximum of 17th of October, that would be the price or the time extreme. And the price extreme is around the $211 mark, and then anticipate for new all-time highs. And that will coincide with what's happening with Bitcoin. You know, Kusama is doing some amazing things. It's, you know, with Moon River, and Moon River is the moonbeam of the Kusama network. And there's some really, really interesting stuff happening. There's a few Kusama launch pads occurring. So it's going to be a very interesting time. So let's finish on a quote, guys. Finish on a quote. I've got one prepared for you. Here's Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin today, he says, "He who is good for making excuses is seldom good for anything else." The reason I chose this one is take full responsibility. Yep, I'm doing my analysis over here. It gives us high probability of what's likely to occur, but we're in a probability game, not a certainty game. So make sure you are taking full responsibility. Keep training, keep practicing. Excuses are for losers. Winners look in the mirror and go, right, how can I get better? So keep doing what you're doing, and I'll see you soon.